Kei aku nui, kei aku rahi, tēnā nora koutou katoa, anei anō ko ngā tai o mihi e rere atu nei, kia koutou o tira e karanga atu nei, kia koutou nau mai, hara mai, kia marae, I tēnei rā. The political spotlight is on Tāmaki Makaurau. I te rirunga tī tapu atu o takutai a Tash Kemp, voters are preparing to head back to the polls for a by-election, with early voting kicking off tomorrow. Pēni Henare, who lost the seat to Takutai by only 42 votes at the last election, is standing again for Labour. He faces broadcaster Orini Kaipara for Te Pāti Māori, with both seen as the frontrunners. Tuia ki tēnā, local body elections are on the horizon, Māori wards are under debate, and across the motu, more Māori than ever are stepping up to run for mayor. To unpack all of this, I'm joined by political commentator Professor Ella Henry and Te Tiriti advocate Te Wehi Wright. Kei oku rangatira tēnā kōrua e mihi ana kia kōrua.
Kia ora.
Right, he rua ngā kaupapa hei ata wānanga mā tātou. Ko te pōtitanga motu hake ki Tāmaki, me ngā kōwhiringa pōti ārohe. Me ngā Wāri Māori, tai atu ki ngā Wāri Māori. So there are 5 candidates going for the seat in Auckland. Orini Kaipara and Pēni Henare are seen as the frontrunners. Ella, ki o whakaaro, which way is Tāmaki Makaurau going to lean?
I think it would be a very wise person who would put a bet on either of them. They're that close, it's neck and neck. But actually, the real winners are going to be Wahine Māori, because whoever wins, it's going to mean another Māori woman in Parliament, which is always a good thing.
Peo whakaaro te wehi, ko e katoa.
Yeah, ahuri te oku whakaaro ki o whae Ella. And I think it's probably, outside of whoever wins this election, it's probably the opportunity for Tāmaki to have a dry run before we get into the big election coming up. So I think an opportunity to really activate the conscious voter, particularly in the rangatahi area, is something that I'm looking forward to, particularly in this by-election.
Ka pai o kororo mo te hunga rangatahi, te mea me kororo tātou mo te hunga rangatahi, me o rātou mana ki te pōti, hei roti te rongo o tātou no hotahi tēnei ata. But whae Ella, Pēni Henare, he promises real solutions for housing. That's his main kaupapa, Orini Kaipara. She's focusing and being a fierce advocate on the cost of living. The problem is that neither of them are going to be in government. So how are they going to fulfil the promises that they're making as we head into the Tāmaki by-election?
Well, if Māori want that focus at the next government, out of the next government, we're going to have to change this government. I think the reality, though, is that it's not individuals that change policies, it's political parties. So we need our political parties that are in opposition now to formally, I think, work more collaboratively to create those policies moving forward. Is that possible,
though? Do you think they can work more collaboratively? Because they're quite divided at the moment. Labour, the Greens and Te Pāti Māori.
I believe so. And I would say to them, if they were in front of me, sort your fellas selves out. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen at the next election. So come to the party, sort yourselves out.
Tika. Te wehi I kōrero koe mō ngā rangatahi, ne? Me te mana o ngā rangatahi ki te pōti. But in 2023, turnout was the lowest among 18 to 24-year-olds, and with half the Māori population under 25, how do we better engage rangatahi to vote in the by-election and also in the local body elections?
Yeah, I think generally that was the lower voter turnout, but if you look at concentrated areas, particularly where Hana Rāwhiti Maipi was, there was a huge increase. So I think whoever can activate the rangatahi vote in this by-election is going to do well. Particularly when we think the average or the median voter age here in Tāmaki is about 27. So that's a huge voter demographic that I think Orini, I can see that she's doing quite well, activating, moving into a lot of those kura, going to those universities. I think Ella's probably been there with her. And I know that Hana has been following her to a lot of those things. Key thing for rangatahi, though, one is if they can see themselves in those positions, they'll engage a little bit more. Also, how do we manage and activate social media? And we've seen the utilisation of social media when it came to the hikoi, when it came to submissions against the treaty principles, when it came to submissions against the regulatory standards bill. So they're there and they are engaged, but we just need there's a little bit more that we need to do to make sure that that translates to actual votes. But whoever can do that, I think is going to go well.
Will the rangatahi vote decide Tāmaki, do you think?
Absolutely. And let's be very clear, around the motu, at least another 50,000 Māori turned 18 in the last 3 years. So they will be first-time voters, and they are socially connected and globally very, very aware of what's going on. So whoever uses social media well is going to get their vote.
Okay, kia tahuri ake tātou ki ngā kōwhiringa pōti ārohe, Naini. The local body elections are just around the corner. Māori, more than ever, are putting their hands up for mayor. Are you surprised by that, Te Wehi? Are you surprised by the amount of Māori who have found the courage, I suppose, to go for mayor? Because we all know it's going to be a very rocky road for people who are going for mayor.
Kyle, I'm not surprised. And actually, a lot of the ones that are putting their hand up are relatively younger in age. And I think a lot of it's been led by the likes of Moko Te Panya, the work that he's been doing up north, Tori Whānau in Pōneke. So I think what we're seeing is a response. Māori aren't just wanting to be at the table, but they want to start driving those decisions. And we know that with our communities, we've always held political power amongst our communities. Now we're trying to shift that into the political realm, whether it's local elections or central government. So I'm not surprised. It's just hoping that the rest of Te Iwi Māori can get behind those people and making sure that they're also supported on the way.
I introduced you as a Te Tiriti advocate. I know you're a lot more than that, brother. I know you're a lot more than that. But in terms of Te Ropu Toitu Te Tiriti, is one of the objectives of Toitu Te Tiriti to uplift our rangatahi, especially those who are showing huge potential, into some of these positions like mayor, some of these more general positions in our communities?
There's a couple of things, and probably Edu will be better to speak to this, but it's about raising that political consciousness that's always there, but also how do we translate that into positive action? And it's about showing you don't necessarily have to be in government to make those changes, but if we can start to familiarise ourselves with some of those democratic processes, then it doesn't seem so daunting. And I think Toitu Te Tiriti are doing a really good job of showing us practical ways to engage in some of the decision-making processes in the country. And exercising the democratic right, engari exercising our right as Māori here in Aotearoa as well, being able to drive some of those conversations.
Awesome. How do you feel about the shift in Māori leadership, Whaiala? Because, you've got people like Te Wehi, you've got Tanya Tapsell, you've got Moko Te Panya, Eru Kapakingi, you've got all of these brilliant young people coming through. How do you feel about the shift in Māori leadership that's happening?
I think it's brilliant and timely. I mean, unfortunately, there are some of our leadership that are having trouble moving over. And I'm a very, very big fan of time to move over. Do you know what I mean? Because, we don't call you tama ariki for nothing. We don't call you rangatahi for nothing. You are in training to become the Pākehā of the future, so I'm very heartened.
In this year's local elections, they include referendums on Māori wards. Most councils want to keep them, but do you think the public will back them? Because they're going to referendum, the public's going to decide. The councils want them, what about the public?
I was so heartened by Toitu Te Tiriti being down in Wellington on the last day and seeing the 100,000 people coming there, because at least half of them were allies, tangata moana. So it is tangata moana and tangata whenua and tangata tiriti that will actually make that change. And the fact that there are so many tens of thousands of them that can see the value in who we are and what it adds to their identity, they're going to be the deciding factor, I think.
Do you think we're going to have the numbers, though, publicly, Te Wehi, to save the Māori wards, to keep the Māori wards?
I think if we can employ the same strategies we did for the hikoi, for all of these submissions, the 300,000 submissions that we put in, which was more than the votes that were given to ACT, then I think we definitely will get there. But a lot of it is about making sure that we keep activating those communities, which is why I'm excited for the Tāmaki by-election, because it's another opportunity to keep our communities engaged in these democratic processes. And having a lot of Māori in local elections as well to help keep that at the front of mind. If there's one thing there's a lot of uncontrollables in the political landscape at the moment, but the one thing you can do is go out and vote. And understanding it's a Western process, but until we're actually there and voting at the table, then we're not going to be able to change anything.
Is it a rohe by rohe thing, do you think? Do you think some rohe will be a lot stronger in advocating to keep Māori wards than others?
I think some rohe have a higher Māori population, and the higher the Māori population, the more we're part of the conversation, part of the narrative. But I was down at Matatini in New Plymouth, and New Plymouth has famously got a long history of not being very pro-Māori. And honestly, even the white taxi drivers are going, "Oh, you Maoris have come to town too. That's fabulous. Yes, we're really enjoying having you here." And I was like, okay, cool. Maybe if we can change the minds of one rohe by another, then we transform the whole country.
It seemed to be that we are getting homey, we are getting allies across the spectrum. We're going to have a story about some people who recognise themselves as tangata tiriti shortly and advocate for the treaty relationship, but also the churches. There's over 100 churches that have said that they're going to start running 2-hour workshops to educate all of their followers about the importance of Māori words, Māori wards and the benefit of Māori wards. So, does that give you some kind of encouragement, I suppose, to wehi, that these Māori wards will survive, that we are actually starting to get the message across the wider community that, hey, this is important, the treaty relationship is important, so let's just sort of work together and be as people of tangata tiriti, tangata whenua, tangata moana.
It definitely gives me a lot of hope for the Māori wards, but I think bigger than just the Māori wards conversation, it gives me a lot of hope for society. If that's the kind of activation that we're getting in our communities, in our churches, who for a long time were pillars of colonisation, and now e tahuri ana o rātou whakaaro. Irrespective of what the government says, what the principles or the articles of Te Tiriti are, it's the intention is carried through our communities and our hapori. And so if we can keep driving that narrative, there might be a time where we don't actually need the Māori wards. So that's what I'm hopeful for. That's what I'm hopeful for. But again, it's not going to happen by accident.
Yeah, generational thing, nera.
Ai.
Mihi ana kia kōrua. Ko tino rangatira, a marae a kōrua i tēnei ata. It was a privilege to sit here and listen to both of you and the ideas that you've shared with us this morning. So tēnā kōrua, e mihi ana, kia ora.
Tēnā koe.
Hoi anō rei tiwi, whai akene, while political changes and media headlines suggest Aotearoa is racially divided, is that really the case? We talk to tangata tiriti who share their perspective. Kia mau tonu mai. Nau mai anō e tiwi, rawe ngā kōroroa ala rawa ko te wehi nera. Nā, e mohi ana tātou, kua mahi nui tēnei kāwanatanga ki te whakawaimeha i te mana o te reo Māori, ki te whakakore atu i te kāwana ruatanga, ki te whakahou ake i te tiriti o Waitangi. The current government narrative would have many believing that Aotearoa is more racially divided than ever. Leigh-Marama McLachlan spoke to everyday New Zealanders to see if the narrative matches reality.
Ko te wakawa naunga a iwi te arotai.
What is going wrong in New Zealand? We thought your race relations were the best in the world.
It may be that we find New Zealand is not mature enough to have this discussion.
This is a grubby little bill, born of a grubby little deal.
This House has only ever recognised one partner, one culture, one language from one treaty.
There are some factions within the government that absolutely don't understand what the mātāpono or the principles of Te Tiriti o Waitangi are.
Actually, Māori and non-Māori have been consulted, but act as opposed to treating people differently based on their race.
Here we are again, being plonked right back where we started, back into a system that really doesn't work for Māori.
This cutting and pasting exercise of the Treaty of Waitangi demeans, debases and trivialises our founding document.
On the surface, it could be easy to believe that many Pākehā and Māori are at odds, two sides locked in battle. But talk to many everyday Pākehā and you'll hear a different story.
So many tangata tiriti are appalled by the harm that's being done to te iwi Māori, te reo and other kaupapa that impact Māori health and well-being.
I'm very in favour of Māori being part of natural life in New Zealand. I mean, it's an official language of the country. I'm in favour of bilingual signs. I'm in favour of increasing the use of te rā Māori and right through our life. It can only enrich us.
For a lot of people, they just haven't engaged in te ao Māori at all. So their perspective is very narrow. So as the job of tangata tiriti is to open those people's world up, open the world up to as many people as we can, to show the promise that was made in Te Tiriti o Waitangi and how beautiful that promise can be for all of us.
Koinei a Kay Benjamin me tōna wānau. He wānau e taunaki ana i te ao Māori i roto i tō rātou ake ao.
Anei, kahirangi, anei he raka. Kia te rātou. Toi, tū. Ko te o? Ne. We are Pākehā wānau and we chose to raise our tamariki in te reo Māori tuatahi mai te kōpū. Ina mena kei te noho ki enei wenua te mahi hira hei whakanui i ngā whainga Māori, it's a way of, I guess, participating in decolonisation in the small everyday ways.
Nau mai i ngā hua, o te wao, o te ngākina, o te waitai, o te wai Māori.
We always raised them talking about atua Māori or tikanga Māori in spaces and places, you know, waiho, nahu, all those kinds of things that to me just seemed like really obvious ways we make sure that we have separation of our tea towels and, you know, those kinds of things because it makes sense. I think trying to demonstrate values around manaakitanga and aroa and being kaitiaki.
Aotearoa a John McMenamin e mahi ana hei tākuta, e mahi ngātahi ana hoki me ngai Māori i te maha o ngā tau. A kua Māori haere o na wakaro.
I've been privileged to learn a lot from wāna Māori. I grew up in a Pākehā world, and so my personal contact with Māori was very limited, and the schools I were at had some Māori, but very little formalised Māori. There was not like today when my own kids have, you know, been able to engage in kapa haka and have had language experiences at school. There was none of that.
Kei te ako a tākuta McMenamin ki te kōrero Māori. Kei te ako hoki e te hiwana tamariki me ana mokopuna.
Te reo has just become a kind of natural extension of the language of our wānau, really. I mean, the lovely thing is that when I use it in a consultation with Māori, they very much appreciate it. And we just know that a really important part of healthcare is that you feel that you belong in the place where you're receiving healthcare and that you are understood.
He nui ana mahi rangahaui e nei rā e pāna ki te hawara Māori.
I'm interested in the way in which we in our health system can make our system truly responsive to wānau Māori and to be both respectful of wānau Māori, but more importantly to develop a system or adjust or change the system in a way that will allow good access to care and good responses from the caregivers.
Koe tō marae. Te tauri, ko whakarara. Hu Māori.
Ka rere kia tino o Peri Monaghan I tana hunuku mai te taone nui ki te takiwā. I te tūtakitanga o tōna hua rangatira me te whānautanga o a rauwa tamariki Māori tokorua.
That was a big thing, and navigating a relationship with someone that's Māori and how does that work, and you know, and then spending more time in Māori spaces and then raising 2 Māori kids. So yeah, honestly, just bit by bit and day by day, I'm just learning and sharing what I learn. That's pretty much it.
He tino kaha tana manua nui I ngā take Māori. Ka pānuihia o na mōhiotanga ki te paipā pāho pāpori, ko Peri te Pākehā, tana ingoa ka rangaranga.
To stand in solidarity with our fellow treaty partners to ensure that their rights are protected, that their voices are heard. That is the job of Tangata Tiriti, to ensure that the government of the day can't just sweep in and undo hundreds of years of work with the stroke of a pen. I'm sure people who are listening to this that will know that being dominant in society and culture means you don't always have to put yourself in these positions where you're not knowing, where you're in a position of having to entirely rely and listen. And I think that's why a lot of Pākehā struggle with the concept of going to language lessons, is they're like, oh, you know, they get uncomfortable with it.
If we feel that we should be able to feel comfortable at all times, then we're just not going to naturally put ourselves forward into those situations. Yeah, so whether that be marae or whether that be going to Te Matatini or a hikoi, we aren't sure if it's for us.
The terms Pākehā and Tauiwi have been around for decades, but a growing number of people are identifying with the kupu Tangata Tiriti. So what does that mean?
Tangata Tiriti is a fairly recent development of a position that a lot of us have held for a long time, that we understand Te Tiriti as a foundational document for our country, that it is a way of understanding the bicultural roots of our country, that it gives me as Pākehā a place to stand, and a place to stand proudly alongside wānau Māori and iwi Māori.
Ai, me te tohu tō ki runga, ana. Ai, I like the idea of Tangata Tiriti as taina, listening, following the lead of, and being guided and protected by tangata whenua in that way, but that we definitely have, you know, unique opportunities and insights to bring to, and at its best, that relationship, you know, kind of, I guess, has more collective well-being and healing potential in it. That would be my hope. I'm often asked by, particularly Pākehā, why I choose to live the way that I do, and I feel like they're often searching for some exceptional reason why I would be motivated to learn Te Reo Māori or to work towards decolonisation as Pākehā. And I think that once you know about the history of Aotearoa and colonisation here, it's very hard to remain dispassionate about becoming involved in the unravelling of that.
Go! Piki piki mai! Whoa!
Kaore anō tātou kia tae atu ki te tihi. We haven't arrived to where we are destined, our potential yet. And that's what I think about in the future is, me mahi tahi tātou, let's do it together. That doesn't mean that we're all the same, eh? We aren't, we're different. And we have to acknowledge that. We are different, we come from different backgrounds, we have different experiences, but we're here together. So let's support each other. Let's find a way through together. Let's not dominate, but let's collaborate. And so that's my focus, and that's what the country I want my kids to grow up in.
Lawe a tāhua we nā kōrero e whai ake nei tiwi. We hear from the two young warriors who attended the NRL Youth Indigenous Summit. Ki hoki mai anō rā kia marae. On the field, the NRL Indigenous Round has become one of the most powerful weeks of the season. Jerseys painted with ancestral stories, players leading haka, and stadiums transformed into cultural showcases. Off the field, the NRL Youth Indigenous Summit is a chance for students to share cultural experiences and develop leadership. Courtney Tairi headed to Warriors HQ to talk to those who made that very special journey.
This year, 4 rangatahi from Aotearoa were given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to travel to Aotearoa for the NRL Indigenous Youth Summit. Guided by the Warriors Foundation, the kaupapa brought together young leaders from across the NRL to connect, learn and celebrate culture.
The Warriors Foundation is the community arm of the Warriors. We go out into schools, clubs. We're just all about making social change and using rugby league as that vehicle. So the summit is about Indigenous culture. You have Torres Strait Islanders, Māoris and Aboriginal, and we all come together for youth from each club. And it's about leadership and how do you lead within your communities but with culture.
For Gus and Essence, it was an unforgettable moment when they found out they'd been chosen.
Yeah, I tino hari ko au, e haramai taku head of house, and e ki ia ki aia, kia hau me hui tawa. They haere ki tāna tari, and e ki mai ki aia te kōrero, and e ki ia, oh, you've been selected to go to the NRL Indigenous Youth Summit. And I was, i tino hikaka au, i tino harikoa no hoki, engari, ko te mea nui i pirangi au te wehe i tēnei motu.
I was really excited because I had never gone overseas before, so it was like my first trip overseas. And I was just really thrilled to get to know another Indigenous culture.
Haere ki ahi te reo hoki, engari nōku te waimari e kōwhiringia te hepo tanga I hau. And I tino hariko toku whānau hoki pirangi rātou kia ako au e pāna ki te ahurea Aboriginal me te ahurea Torres Strait Islander. rere tino harikoa toku mama me toku papa.
The summit was about more than just rugby league. It was about pride, identity, and sharing Indigenous stories.
I tino pai I tūtaki au I ngā hoa hou, and I tuai hoki mai I pirangi au te hoki atu ki Aotearoa nā te tino I tino hariko te ngāku o ngā tauira katoa. Ko te mea hira ki au ko te tūtaki I ngā hoa hou me te ako e pāna ki ngā ahurea atu te ahurea Māori.
My highlight of the summit was connecting with all the different people that I met and exploring the Aboriginal culture. When I heard their stories, it really it touched my heart, because I was like, wow, like they don't even get to learn their language and culture in schools. So it really made me grateful for what we have back at home.
Through the wānanga, friendships were formed and similarities discovered between cultures.
Some misunderstandings, but towards the end of the summit, we all kind of gelled together, and we learnt about each other, and I felt like we could respect each other a bit more, because we understood like what each other's backgrounds are.
The differences, like servo, like we say gas station, like all the chili bin, they say eski. It was it's like. It just meant so much to me that I got to share my culture and my home to them, and then get back,
For these rangatahi, the experience wasn't just about connection, it was about growth as young leaders.
I went over there I'm a good leader and everything, but when I came back, I felt like I was a better leader. I learned more about myself and where I come from.
It was once in a lifetime opportunity, and I want to come back home and share it with everybody, and just tell them we are so lucky to have what we have.
I remember our first hui, it was online with the four rangatahi and crickets. It was so hard to get any communication from them, but then to get off the plane, couldn't stop them talking. Yeah, it was beautiful. There's so much pride and excitement around. They're only gonna gain a lot of experience and, pride. Just pride, a lot of pride.
For Charlotte, seeing the next generation step into these spaces shows the future of rugby league and Indigenous culture is bright.
When they play for who they are, who their family is, it just means that they play with so much intensity. But now it's our moment. It's our time to go out and show people what we've got, and that we're here to stay and we're a force in the NRL and NRLW.
Ko aku wawata kia haere atu e tahi āhuatanga reo Māori ki motu ke, and kia whakaatu atu ki te ao katoa pēhā te mahi Māori ki Aotearoa.
Hoi nō rai kare mā, kua tai ki te mutunga o Marae I tēnei rā. Ngā mihi nui I tā koutou mā taki mai. Those of you in the Tāmaki Makaurau electorate, don't forget, voting opens tomorrow. Koutou I mātaki I te kapa o Pangoara. I kōwhiri koutou kia mātaki a rātou kia kau e mātaki a Marae mai tana timatanga ki tēnei wānei. Mau taima I te mea. I hinga te kapa o Pango ia a ki tina I roto o Buenos Aires. I wā rātou nei hoki. Hoi anō rā, kamihi tonu te ngākau kia koutou. Noho ana ko ngā manaakitanga o te wā ki runga I a koutou haere ake nei ka tūtaki anō tātou kia tātou a te rāwiki. Hei kona, me ngā mihi. Ko te reo, te take.